Millionaire, stunned by poor girl's words at Café. Her secret leaves him shattered forever. The morning buzz of the Café wrapped around Alex Harper like a fine silk scarf. Familiar, yet suffocating. A tall man with meticulously styled hair. He rocked his signature suit that screamed power, but hid a brewing storm inside. He was a millionaire, a master of negotiations. And yet, as he stirred his espresso, a sense of discontent pressed down on him like heavy fog. It usually started with this daily coffee ritual, a bittersweet moment where the chaos of his corporate life seemed to fade. Until today, Mia entered, her vibrant orange dress a striking contrast to the muted tones of the Café. With wild curls framing her face, she joined the other patrons, her laughter ringing like wind chimes in a summer breeze. Suddenly, Alex, usually lost in business emails and projections, found his focus diverted. Her candid remarks about life floated to him, sharp and clear, slicing through the nen. As the Café pulsed with energy, the hiss of the espresso machine, the scent of baked goods. The world outside faded into the background. "You know," Mia continued, her voice soft yet engaging, "people think freedom comes with money, but it's the chains of expectations that trap us." Her passion ignited something deep within him, a flicker of unease that fast became a flame. The pressures of numbers, profits, and the relentless chase of success suddenly felt trivial. But it was the way she spoke, a mixture of hope and despair that grounded him. Alex's heart raced. He didn't want to agree with her, yet he found himself nodding. Then, without warning, Mia dropped a bombshell. "I used to live in a shelter. They told me I would never be anything. But here I am." Her voice trailed off, leaving an echo in the Café as the laughter of patrons faded into an awed silence. Her revelation hung there, heavy and tangible. A stark reality, contrasting sharply with Alex's polished life. Would he ever dare to face such pain, such vulnerability? The lump in his throat tightened. What did he know of true struggle? Murmurs of shock swept through the crowd, eyes darting between them. Alex's mind raced, battling the implications of her words. How could someone so earnest stand where he struggled with superficial pursuits? The silence was shattered by a loud crash. His coffee cup slipped from his trembling fingers, splattering espresso across the table. The Café gasped. The world beyond them halted as everyone stared, eyes wide with surprise. The stark reality of Mia's truth resonated with the fragility of his carefully curated life. "Alex," she whispered, concern softening her features amidst the chaos. He looked into her eyes, searching. What was it about her that beckoned him closer? What secret lay in her past? And, more importantly, what impact would it have on his future? Hey, before you continue with this incredible story, I have an important warning for you. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube has removed their subscriptions without warning. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And while you're at it, leave a like to help me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes a difference. Let's interact. Alex's heart raced as he locked eyes with Mia. Her warmth radiated through the cafe, yet the weight of her story settled heavily on his chest. The silence buzzed with an unspoken tension, drawn tighter by each passing second. Suddenly, a loud crash resonated from the rear of the cafe. The door swung open, a gust of wind swirling in the scent of rain and chaos. A figure stumbled inside, breathing heavily. It was a man, disheveled and wild-eyed, his clothes tattered. Ah! The crowd shifted uneasily, whispers flitting like startled birds. "Mia!" the man shouted, his voice breaking the unreal silence. "You have to come with me! They found us!" Panic shimmered in the air, and Alex felt the room tilt again, a dizzying spin. Mia's face paled, the color draining from her cheeks. "What do you mean?" she stammered, confusion flickering in her wide eyes. "Who found us?" Alex's mind raced. This wasn't what he expected. Was this a joke? A prank? The cafe patrons exchanged glances, confusion morphing to fear. The murmur of disbelief escalated, punctuated by another loud thud, as the man leaned against the counter, desperate urgency spilling from every word. "They know you're here! They're looking for you! We have to go now!" He glanced furtively toward the door, as if sensing danger lurking just beyond the threshold. Mia's expression twisted into something Alex couldn't decipher. Fear. Recognition. Something deeper. "I thought I was safe. I thought it was over!" She stepped back, her voice trembling. Alex's heart pounded. Who was this man? What did he want? The cafe buzzed alive with startled gasps, heads turning, murmurs turning into frantic discussions. "What's going on?" someone whispered. I don't understand." Mia's voice cracked under its own weight, the afternoon sun skipping over her olive skin, now ashen. "Why now?" Before she could say more, there was a loud bang. The cafe door slammed open again. But this time it wasn't just the wind. A group of men stormed in, dressed in dark suits, their glances cold and searching. The air thickened with tension, as if the very walls held their breath. "Mia!" one of them shouted, authority lacing his tone. The crowd grew still, fear palpable. Alex felt a surge of protectiveness. Who were they? What were they to her? He instinctively stepped closer to Mia, sensing her vulnerability. "What do you want with her?" His voice was rough, filled with urgency. The lead man turned toward Alex, narrowing his gaze. "Stay out of this, rich boy." Something in that statement knocked the wind out of Alex. It opened a door he thought had been sealed. Their worlds were colliding in ways he never anticipated. Mia grabbed Alex's arm, her grip tight, a mix of terror and desperation. "We can't stay here," she pleaded, her eyes darting between the men and the door. And just like that, everything Alex thought he knew shattered. Mia wasn't just a girl with dreams. She was someone on the run. A secret life woven with shadows, struggles deeper than he imagined. The cafe, a moment ago a safe haven, had transformed into a trap. And with every heartbeat, Alex understood that the woman standing beside him was connected to a world he barely grasped, one that could rip apart the very fabric of his perfect life. "Who are you, Mia?" he breathed, the words slipping out before he could stop himself. Her eyes sparkled with unshed tears. "I never wanted you to find out." In that instant, everything pivoted, and the truth loomed large between them, an unspoken promise of chaos and change. What else lay hidden in her past? What were they about to unleash? Mia was about to tell him everything. The fear in her eyes connected to the chaos unfolding around them. Alex could feel his heart thumping loudly in his ears, drowning out the frantic whispers of the cafe patrons. He stepped closer, ready to shield her from the storm brewing just inches away. Mia, we need to... But before he could finish, a piercing scream cut through the tension. One of the men in suits had lunged towards them. Alex's instincts kicked in. The men surged forward, cold and relentless. "Mia, come with us!" one shouted again, desperation tainting his voice. "No, I won't go!" She pulled back, her grip on Alex's arm tightening. "I can't!" Then, like a thunderclap, the door burst open again. A woman stormed in, wild-eyed and breathless. "Stop!" she yelled, locking eyes with one of the men. "You can't take her! Not again!" The cafe fell silent, all eyes darting between the newcomers. Alex's stomach dropped at the sight of the woman. There was something hauntingly familiar about her, something that sent shivers down his spine. "Mia, listen to me," the woman implored, her voice shaking yet filled with an urgency that demanded attention. "They can't find you. You must remember why you left." "What do you mean?" Mia's voice was shaky. "You swore I was safe." "Safe?" The woman laughed bitterly, a sound that twisted the atmosphere into something darker. "Did you really believe you could escape? You're still a target." "Oh." Alex shook his head, confused. "What are you talking about? Who are you?" The woman's gaze fell on him and her eyes softened briefly. "I'm someone who knows the truth about Mia, and you, Alex Harper, need to understand what you're getting into." At that moment, the lead man moved closer, eyes blazing with authority. "You don't understand what you're meddling in, lady." The tension thickened like fog, wrapping around them, tightening until it was almost unbearable. With every heartbeat, Alex felt the ground shift beneath him. Who was Mia really? "Mia, please," the woman pleaded, stepping between the men and Mia. "You have to remember, the part of you that was hidden, the life before the shelter. They're coming for you because of what you know." "What I know?" Mia's voice trembled, her memories flickering like shadows. "I don't understand." Before the woman could respond, something shattered in the cafe. A window, splintering into chaos. The realization washed over them like ice water. Danger was here, flooding into their safe space. "Get down!" someone yelled, panic rising. Mia's eyes widened as the men began to move. A scuffle erupted, tables overturned, and coffee spilled in torrents. It was a beautiful chaos of confusion. In the midst of the uproar, Alex locked eyes with Mia, searching for understanding, but finding only fear and uncertainty. "Mia!" he shouted, but the noise enveloped them like a vice. She stumbled backward, glancing at the woman, desperation etched on her face. "What do I do?" Suddenly, as chaos unfurled, the woman pointed a shaking finger, her voice a whisper through the din. "Trust no one, not even him." Shock rippled through Alex. "Mia, don't listen!" But before he could finish, another crash echoed, and in the madness, the woman rushed toward the door. "This is bigger than you realize! Move!" Just then, Alex saw something glinting on the ground, a small locket. He bent to pick it up, memory rushing back. Something about that locket was deeply familiar. Before he could ponder further, a commotion exploded around him. Suddenly, Alex felt a cold wave of realization. Mia wasn't just a girl with dreams, she was something more. Something tied to a life entwined in shadows. With dread, he wondered if the truth would swallow him whole. "Mia!" he called again. But she was already pulled away, the world fracturing around them. His heart raced, questions flooding his mind. What secrets were hidden? What chaos lay ahead? And in that moment, as the door swung shut behind the woman, one thought burned in his mind. Was he ready to uncover the truth, no matter the cost? Mia's eyes were wide, searching through the chaos for something. Maybe hope, maybe an escape. Alex felt the weight of her gaze, a bond forming in the whirlwind around them. The air crackled with danger, pushing them together as the men in suits moved like shadows, converging on their space. "Mia, stay close!" he urged, adrenaline coursing through him. But before she could respond, the older woman reappeared, her face flush with determination. "Run!" she shouted, thrusting her arm toward the back exit. A sudden commotion erupted as one of the men lunged forward, grabbing the woman by the arm. "You think you can protect her?" he spat, anger flashing in his eyes. Her expression hardened, but the fear was there, just below the surface. "Let her go!" Alex yelled, stepping between them, every instinct roaring to fight. But the chaos only swirled tighter around him, like a cyclone. "Mia, please," the woman pleaded, desperation coating her words. "You have to trust me. They can't find you." "I don't know who to trust," Mia shrieked, shaken. "What do you want from me?" "Help!" a man shouted outside. All heads turned. The cafe doors burst open again, and a familiar face emerged. Jack, Alex's business partner and longtime friend, his eyes wide with shock. "Alex, you need to leave!" Jack screamed, breathless, rushing through the chaos. "I know things about Mia that you don't." Alex's heart raced, confusion swirling like fog. "What do you mean?" Before Jack could answer, the lead man whipped around, fury in his gaze. "Secure the exits. Don't let anyone leave." A pang of fear shot through Alex, connecting dots that felt all too dangerous. "Jack, what do you know?" But Jack was already backing away, eyes darting. "The truth is," Jack's voice was a whisper amidst the chaos, "Mia isn't who she says she is. She's connected. You need to understand. She's the key." Mia's face fell, hurt flashing in her eyes, uncertainty swimming in the depths. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely a breath. "Stop!" the lead man shouted, his tone commanding. "You're making this more complicated than it needs to be." Suddenly, the cafe lights flickered, and the atmosphere thickened, as if reality itself was bending. A loud crack, like thunder, ripped through the noise. The windows shattered dramatically, and sharp shards flew everywhere, catching the light like stars falling from the sky. People screamed, some ducking, others running. Amidst the chaos, Alex instinctively shielded Mia, the world around them dissolving into chaos. "It's okay. We're going to get through this," he reassured her, yet doubt took root in his own chest. And then, just as quickly as the chaos exploded, everything froze. It was as if time had blanked out, a collective gasp hovering in the air. A figure staggered in through the broken doorway, Alex's breath caught in his throat. It was a woman, covered in grime, her hair matted, clothes tattered. But her face was unmistakable. It was Alex's mother, Clara, alive, her eyes wild, filled with terror. "Get away from her!" she screamed, her voice cutting through the shock. "You don't know what she is." "Mom?" Alex fought to comprehend. "What are you doing here?" "No time to explain. They'll come for you too." Everything Alex thought he knew shattered. "What do you mean? Who?" But instead of answers, his mother turned to Mia, raw fear churning in her expression. "You don't understand. Trust no one, especially not him." The ground beneath Alex seemed to tremble, secrets flooding his mind. Who was Mia really? Why was he pulled into this mess? Did his mother know things he never dared to ask? "Mia!" Alex reached out, his heart pounding, ready to pull her close, to protect her from whatever peril loomed. But then, the silence shattered again. A gunfire-like bang echoed through the cafe, jarring everyone. Alex spun around, and chaos erupted once more, screams blending with panic. And just like that, echoed, Tibau! Death reared its ugly head, a reminder of the high stakes at play. In that moment, Alex realized he was more entwined in Mia's dangerous past than he could have ever imagined. With every heartbeat, the truth loomed, and he had to know. Who was Mia, and how deep did this rabbit hole go? "Mia!" Alex called, desperation saturating his voice. But the air crackled not with tension, but with confusion and fear. His mind raced, grasping at threads of information, trying to piece together the chaos unraveling around them. The cacophony surged, and just when Alex thought things couldn't get worse, the door slammed open again. The room seemed to hold its breath. A figure stepped inside, waving a strange object, his face obscured by shadows. "Everyone down!" the man shouted, voice like thunder. A cold chill raced down Alex's spine. "What now?" He pulled Mia closer, heart pounding. The chaos seemed to peel back layers, exposing something raw and menacing. The man raised the object in his hand, and it glinted ominously. "You're all in danger! You have to leave!" Panic erupted. Patrons screamed, ducking under tables, frantically searching for safety. Alex's instincts kicked in. "This way!" He grabbed Mia's arm, and they moved toward the back. "Mia, why are they after you?" he shouted, urgency lacing every word. "I don't know," she yelled back, fear pulling her voice thin. "I thought I was free." But before they could make their escape, the man lunged at them. The glimmering object in his hand was a weapon. "You can't hide!" Everything slowed. Heart racing. Alex pushed Mia behind him. "No!" he shouted. But the man let out a horrifying laugh, the sound dripping with malice. "You think you can protect her? You don't even know who she really is." Those words hung between them, slicing through the adrenaline. Alex's blood ran cold. "What are you talking about?" Mia's expression shifted. Confusion morphed into recognition. "Wait, what do you know?" "More than you know about yourself." The man grinned, a darkness in his gaze. And just as he was about to speak, an explosion of glass shattered the moment. A shot rang out, piercing through the chaos like a lightning strike. Mia shrieked, staggering backward. "No!" Time stretched, and in that heartbeat, A tremor shifted in the air. Then Alex's mother, Clara, moved with surprising speed. "Mia!" she shouted, rushing toward her. "Listen to me. You need to remember. You're not just a girl from a shelter. You were born into this world." "Mom!" Alex cried, the conflict washing over him like a hurricane. "What are you saying?" The cafe fell silent. Shockwaves ricocheting through the room. All eyes were on Clara, the weight of her words heavy, dripping with revelation. "Mia, you have to take back what's yours," Clara said, urgency carving deep lines on her face. "They're after the legacy, your legacy." Mia's brows furrowed, pain swirling in her eyes. "I don't understand!" The man grinned wider, revealing jagged teeth. "And you never will." Then, in a swift motion, he lunged, aiming the weapon. But before anyone could react, Clara stepped in front of Mia, eyes blazing. "You don't get to take her." In that moment, everything exploded into chaos again. Shots rang out. The world spiraled. Alex could only watch as Clara's body jolted, a sound of horror surfacing from his throat. "Mom!" he screamed, collapsing to the ground as Clara fell. Pain coursed through him, sharp and relentless. But the true shock came moments later, a realization that felt like ice running through his veins. The truth clawed at him. Clara wasn't just any mother. She was part of a legacy of power, one that tied them all together, Mia, Clara, and even the man with a weapon. Everything he thought he knew twisted into something darker and deeper. "What's happening?" Alex asked, eyes darting between the chaos and the shadows of revelation. And as he tried to process it all, another figure stepped forward from the shadows, a figure that made his heart stop. It was Mia, but she was different, darker, more commanding. "It's time for me to reclaim what's mine." And just like that, the world shattered into unrecognizable fragments, leaving Alex gasping. He stood on the precipice of an abyss, caught between love and betrayal, yearning to understand how a single moment could tilt everything he believed at a dangerous angle. What was Mia hiding? How far had she gone to protect her secrets? And in the wake of everything, was he even more caught in the crossfire than he ever realized? Mia's eyes glinted with an unfamiliar fierceness, her voice stronger than before. "It's time for me to reclaim what's mine." The words hung in the air, shifting the atmosphere like a tide. Alex felt dizzy, confusion swirling in his chest. What had he just witnessed? Who was this determined woman standing before him? The cafe, once a safe refuge, became an arena of unmarked dangers. The man with the weapon stepped back, eyeing Mia as though she were a ticking bomb. "You think you can take back what you lost? You're more in danger now than ever." With adrenaline pumping, Alex's protective instinct surged. "Mia, don't listen to him," he shouted. But deep down, uncertainty began to gnaw at him. Just then, another series of loud cracks split the air, one after another, like thunder that promised cataclysm. The cafe erupted into chaos again, and people shrieked, some diving for cover. Alex looked at Jack, who had pressed himself against a wall, fear washing over his face. "Mia!" Clara shouted over the din, her voice trembling. "Please, you need to remember. The legacy isn't just power, it's the truth about who you are. But before anyone could comprehend the weight of this proclamation, the lights flickered violently. A barely perceptible gasp rippled through the room. All eyes turned to the far corner, where a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in a darkness that felt alive. It was an old man, his face lined with a lifetime of secrets. "Enough!" he bellowed, and the crowd froze, a hush settling in like a shroud. Everyone was captivated, as if caught in a spell. The figure stepped closer, shaking with age. Or was it fury? And then he pointed a finger at Mia, eyes burning. "You don't know what they're planning. You're a pawn in a game far bigger than yourself." "What do you mean?" Mia asked, her voice full of confusion. "Who are you?" "I'm someone who once wanted to protect you," he said. "But it's too late for that now. They've already marked you." He glanced accusingly at the man with the gun, who stood frozen, uncertainty breaking across his hardened features. The old man continued, "You have a power within you, Mia. The power to decide the fate of many. But they want to use you as a weapon." A gasp echoed through the cafe, and Alex's heart raced, feeling the ground shift underfoot. "What are you talking about?" he demanded, fear morphing into fury. "What is she to them?" But before anyone could answer, the old man drew in a breath, steadied himself, and declared, "You're not just a girl from a shelter. You're the last of your line, the heir to a legacy steeped in darkness and light. They want to control you, but you must break free." Time seemed to stretch impossibly thin. Mia's face changed, the shock palpable. Then, in a moment that exploded like a firecracker, the man with the weapon turned and aimed it squarely at the old man. "You'll say nothing more!" he shouted, pulling the trigger. Everything exploded into chaos again. The cafe erupted into screams and chaos as Alex lunged forward, instinct driving him to shield Mia. But amid the chaos, a sudden flash of brilliance filled the air. Mia shouted something that echoed through the madness. "No, I won't let it end like this!" Time seemed to freeze. The world fell silent. Not a breath, not a sound. And just as it seemed hope flickered out, Mia raised her hands. In that moment, a radiant light burst forth from her, blinding everyone. It was a force unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It collided with the bullet mid-air, reversing its course, sending a shockwave that knocked everyone off their feet. Alex's heart raced as reality twisted again. He looked at Mia, truly seeing her for the first time. "Who are you?" he breathed, realizing the true nature of the woman he thought he knew. But in that blinding moment, something else shifted. The lights snapped back on, revealing the cafe, now transformed. The old man lay motionless, eyes wide in disbelief, and the man with the weapon was nowhere to be seen. Mia stood tall, breathing hard, shock and strength intertwined. "I never wanted this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "But now, I must take control." Alex's heart thudded. What had she unleashed? What were the consequences of her power? As confusion settled like dust around them, one question pierced through the chaos. Was there more to Mia than even she understood? What lay ahead as the shadows grew thicker? Mia stood there, trembling, light fading from her fingertips as the shock settled in. Alex watched her, heart racing, unsure whether to dive into the storm of questions or hold her close. Fear tightened his chest. Something monumental was shifting, but he couldn't grasp what it meant. "Mia, what just happened?" he asked, voice barely above a whisper. The cafe was eerily quiet, the patrons still, their faces masked in confusion and fear. Mia's breathing quickened. "I don't know. I didn't mean to. I just reacted." But her eyes darted around the room, wild with uncertainty. "Did you see what you just did?" Jack blurted, disbelief etched in every line of his face. "I know, but—" Before she could finish, the door swung open again, creaking as if the weight of the world had pushed it. A figure stepped inside, a hulking shadow that blocked the light behind him. The patrons flinched, some backing away slowly. "Enough games, Mia," barked the newcomer. His voice was gruff, deep as a rumble of thunder. It turned everyone's head toward him, confusion morphing into panic. "Mia?" Alex's heart dropped. "Who is this?" "Don't listen to him," Mia shouted, scrambling back. "He's dangerous!" The man stepped forward, revealing chiseled features and haunted eyes, carrying an air of authority that demanded attention. "No more lies," he growled. "You've got to face the truth. You're not just anyone. You have power." "Stop!" shouted Clara, who was still reeling from the earlier chaos, but now regained a flicker of strength. "We need to protect her from people like you." Mia's eyes started to glisten with unshed tears. "What truth?" she asked, voice cracking. A man pointed a finger directly at her. "You are the last descendant of a bloodline that once ruled over us. You have the ability to—" Suddenly, the cafe trembled like a heartbeat. Gasps echoed around the room, eyes wide in shock. "Mia!" Alex exclaimed, confusion and fear coating his voice. "Shut up!" barked the man. But before he could continue, Mia stepped forward, defiant. "What do you mean? Am I supposed to rule? I've only ever wanted to live a normal life." Frustration flashed across the man's face. "Normal? What you consider normal is steeped in shadows. Your family, they're not who you think they are." At that moment, something inside the old man, who had been silent in his stillness, ignited. "She needs to know," he frantically pleaded. "It's not just her bloodline. You carry a curse that bonds your family to darkness." "What do you mean?" Alex breathed. The whole cafe seemed to breathe in. "Your mother, Mia, she—" Before he could finish, a crack echoed through the room. The walls shuddered, and a strong gust of wind howled through the door, making tables rattle. "Mia, get back!" Alex shouted, thrusting a protective arm in front of her. Then the unexpected happened. Clara lunged forward, her eyes fixed on the man. "You think she'll believe you? You want to use her, don't you?" "Mom, stop!" Alex yelled, fear slicing through his tone. Clara twisted and shouted something. What it was, Alex didn't catch. But what happened next shattered the ground beneath his feet. The last thing he saw was a flash of light, a blinding fury that engulfed Clara completely. Mia screamed as a force rippled through the cafe, sweeping away everyone in its path like a wave crashing on the shore. When the light faded, the uproar ceased, leaving a thick, heavy silence in its wake. "Mia?" Alex's voice trembled as he searched for her amid the fallout. But when the confusion settled, what lay before him wasn't the cafe he had known. It morphed into a realm of shadows, with people standing motionless, mouths agape. And then he saw her. Clara stood there, but not as his mother. No, this was a figure cloaked in darkness, eyes glittering ominously. "Mia!" She spoke, voice layered in echoes. "It's time to embrace your true nature." Shock slammed into Alex, dizzying him. "What? How?" "Mom?" he croaked, betrayal bubbling in his throat. The line between truth and deception blurred like smoke, unraveling in ways he could never have fathomed. "Join me, Mia," Clara beckoned, hand outstretched, "and together we can reclaim the legacy." Everything Alex thought he understood twisted into chaos. Who was the real Clara? Who was Mia? And what did their shared legacy truly mean? The world spun, leaving Alex grasping at the fragile thread of reality as he faced the terrifying question: what had he lost, and what were they willing to become? Mia's voice trembled in the air as she stood there, demanding control of her destiny. Alex's heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of questions and fear. The cafe, once a refuge, had become a battlefield of shadows and revelations. "Mia," he whispered, trying to bridge the gap between them. "What are you saying?" But the look in her eyes was steely, sharp with purpose. "Enough of this," the man shouted. "You think power is a gift? It's a curse." The moment hung thickly in the air, and then Clara, Alex's mother, who stood cloaked in darkness, took a step towards them. "They'll never let you go, Mia! You have to understand! There are fates worse than death!" "Mia, listen to your mother!" the old man urged, desperation soaring in his voice. Alex felt the weight of those words. "Mom, what do you mean?" Clara fixed her piercing gaze on Mia. "They want to use you, twist you into something unspeakable," she said, her voice low. "But you still have a choice. You can choose your own path." Suddenly, a crack echoed through the room, a jolt that silenced everyone. The lights flickered, shadows dancing ominously around them. Alex's heart pounded louder than ever. "What's happening?" he shouted, feeling the flutter of panic surge within him. Before anyone could respond, the doors flung open again. A rush of wind swept through, bringing with it a figure wrapped in shadows, deep and powerful, like a storm brewing on the horizon. "Enough!" the newcomer roared. "The council has sent me to deal with you all." Gasps erupted from the crowd, and Alex's stomach dropped as the figure stepped forward. It was a woman, regal and fierce, an aura of authority enveloping her. "Mia," she said, locking eyes with her, "you've been summoned. You don't even know who you are yet." "What?" Mia's voice broke, confusion etched across her face. The woman took a deep breath. "You carry the blood of rulers. Your legacy waits for you." "Stop!" Alex shouted, stepping between them. "Who are you? What do you mean?" But as he spoke, a flash of recognition sparked in the woman's eyes. You "You're the one holding her back," she snapped, her voice sharper than glass. "You don't understand the danger you've put her in. Mia is not a weapon." Alex fought back, heart racing with determination. But the woman ignored him, her focus solely on Mia. "You can break the chains holding you back, but you must be willing to sacrifice everything." In that moment, something shifted within Mia. The tension crackled, and the air grew dense with unspoken words. I never wanted any of this," she murmured, but her voice betrayed a flicker of something deeper. Then, just as the storm approached the climax, the old man summoned the last of his energy, voice steadying as he stood tall. "It's time, Mia! You have to choose!" But before she could respond, the woman raised her hand. "No, don't you dare put her in danger! No one will control her." Suddenly, the cafe walls began to tremble as shadow creatures emerged, breaking through the reality that had held them captive. People screamed, chaos erupting again. "Mia, run!" Alex yelled, instinct kicking in. But as Mia turned, the world shattered into scattered pieces. A piercing scream tore through the room, and the figure of the woman transformed before their eyes, her face elongated into a monstrous snarl, revealing sharp teeth and dark intentions. "You thought you could resist?" she hissed, transforming into something utterly monstrous, livid with betrayal. "Mia, look out!" Alex shouted, but it was too late. The monster lunged forward, and in an instant, everything changed. Before anyone could grasp the full horror of the moment, there was a blinding flash, and then silence. As the dust settled, Mia stood, a shimmering aura surrounding her. "I am not your pawn!" Her voice carried power, weight, and determination. But beneath it all, a chilling question drifted through Alex's mind. If Mia had the power to transform, what part of her was truly human? And as the shadows began to stir again, one thing became painfully clear. The fight had just begun. What would it mean for them all? Mia stood there trembling, light fading from her fingertips as the shock settled in. Alex watched her, heart racing, unsure whether to dive into the storm of questions or hold her close. Fear tightened his chest. Something monumental was shifting, but he couldn't grasp what it meant. "Mia," he whispered, trying to bridge the gap between them. "What are you saying?" But the look in her eyes was steely, sharp with purpose. "Enough of this!" the man shouted. "You think power is a gift? It's a curse." The moment hung thickly in the air, and then Clara, Alex's mother, who stood cloaked in darkness, took a step towards them. "They'll never let you go, Mia. You have to understand, there are fates worse than death." "Mia, listen to your mother," the old man urged, desperation soaring in his voice. Alex felt the weight of those words. "Mom, what do you mean?" Clara fixed her piercing gaze on Mia. "They want to use you, twist you into something unspeakable," she said, her voice low. "But you still have a choice. You can choose your own path." Suddenly, a crack echoed through the room, a jolt that silenced everyone. The lights flickered, shadows dancing ominously around them. Alex's heart pounded louder than ever. "What's happening?" he shouted, feeling the flutter of panic surge within him. Before anyone could respond, the doors flung open again. A rush of wind swept through, bringing with it a figure wrapped in shadows, deep and powerful, like a storm brewing on the horizon. "Enough!" the newcomer roared. "The council has sent me to deal with you all." Gasps erupted from the crowd, and Alex's stomach dropped as the figure stepped forward. It was a woman, regal and fierce, an aura of authority enveloping her. "Mia," she said, locking eyes with her, "you've been summoned. You don't even know who you are yet." "What?" Mia's voice broke, confusion etched across her face. The woman took a deep breath. "You carry the blood of rulers. Your legacy waits for you." "Stop!" Alex shouted, stepping between them. "Who are you? What do you mean?" But as he spoke, a flash of recognition sparked in the woman's eyes. You're the one holding her back," she snapped, her voice sharper than glass. "You don't understand the danger you've put her in." "Mia is not a weapon," Alex fought back, heart racing with determination. But the woman ignored him, her focus solely on Mia. "You can break the chains holding you back, but you must be willing to sacrifice everything." In that moment, something shifted within Mia. The tension crackled, and the air grew dense with unspoken words. I never wanted any of this," she murmured, but her voice betrayed a flicker of something deeper. Then, just as the storm approached the climax, the old man summoned the last of his energy, voice steadying as he stood tall. "It's time, Mia! You have to choose!" But before she could respond, the woman raised her hand. "No! Don't you dare put her in danger! No one will control her!" Suddenly, the cafe walls began to tremble as shadow creatures emerged, breaking through the reality that had held them captive. People screamed, chaos erupting again. "Mia! Run!" Alex yelled, instinct kicking in. But as Mia turned, the world shattered into scattered pieces. A piercing scream tore through the room, and the figure of the woman transformed before their eyes. Her face elongated into a monstrous snarl, revealing sharp teeth and dark intentions. "You thought you could resist?" she hissed, transforming into something utterly monstrous, livid with betrayal. "Mia, look out!" Alex shouted, but it was too late. The monster lunged forward, and in an instant, everything changed. But just as the beast pounced, something in the air shifted. A blinding light enveloped Mia again, illuminating the cafe like a sunrise breaking through the darkest night. And suddenly, the monster stumbled back. What emerged was not just light, but a mirror, a reflection of Mia, yet different, more powerful. "You want my power?" she echoed, an otherworldly strength rippling through her veins. "Then face the truth." The air grew heavy, and then in an explosion of sound, the cafe walls began to ripple like water. Alex gasped, eyes wide. The people around him twisted and shifted, their forms becoming fractured, revealing their true selves. "Mia, what's happening?" Alex shouted, but confusion claimed his voice. And there it was. Inside the blinding light, shadows peeled away, revealing not just Mia's true power, but an unimaginable revelation. The patrons, the shadows, the figures, each one was a part of the legacy she had been born to confront. Their faces morphed, flashing with recognition. "Mia," Clara whispered, voice cracking. "They're your family, your blood. You're the heir to a hidden empire." At that moment, Alex felt his world tilt. Every thought, every belief shattered. Mia wasn't just a girl fighting to find her place. She was destined to rule, to control the darkness, or to become it. As reality spun, leaving him gasping, the weight of betrayal and truth settled in his chest. If Mia was indeed linked to this hidden legacy, what did that mean for their love? And who would she choose to become when the dust finally settled? "Mia!" Alex shouted, heart racing as he surged toward her, desperate to protect her from the rising chaos. The once familiar cafe now felt like a strange battleground, shadows swirling around them. The monstrous figure that Clara had transformed into loomed just beyond, eyes burning with dark intentions. "Stay back!" Mia cried, her voice shaking but firm. The energy crackled around her like a live wire, illuminating the depths of fear she felt. But it was different now. There was a flicker of power within her, a defiance she had never shown before. "Don't give in to the darkness," Alex urged, pushing closer to her as the creature snarled. "Remember who you are!" He could see the conflict in her eyes, the pull between her past and the power she could wield. As the monstrous figure lunged, Mia raised her hand, a brilliant light bursting forth once more. "I am not your pawn!" The cafe vibrated with her declaration, the walls shaking like a heartbeat. A wave of energy surged outward, pushing the beast back with an otherworldly force. "Mia!" Clara's voice echoed through the chaos. "Focus! You are strong! You can contain this!" Alex felt hope spark in the pit of his stomach. Perhaps they could turn the tide. The monstrous figure faltered, snarling as its own darkness recoiled from Mia's light. Gasps rippled through the remaining crowd, awestruck by the transformation unfolding before them. Mia stood there, the essence of power and vulnerability intertwined. "I have to know," she shouted, voice steady now. "What is my legacy?" The old man took a step forward. "Your legacy is not one of fear, but of leadership. You have the choice to embrace it or to resist." With a deep breath, Mia took a step toward the shadows. "Then I embrace it." A flood of light exploded from her, radiating throughout the cafe, washing away the shadows. The monster howled, a piercing sound of defeat, as it disintegrated into a cloud of darkness. The cafe brightened, the air lighter, filled with the poignant scent of fresh coffee and baked goods. Mia's shoulders relaxed, her aura settling into a comforting glow. When the light dimmed, she turned to Alex, tears glistening in her eyes. "I can't believe it's over. But I have so many questions now. I'll be with you, whatever comes next," Alex said, stepping closer, relief flooding through him. He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers tightly. "We'll face it together." Clara's form flickered before them, less intense now. "Thank you, Mia, for embracing your true self," she said, voice softer. "I know it hasn't been easy, but there's more to your story yet. You will be a bridge between worlds." "What does that mean?" Mia asked, glancing at Alex, then back at Clara. "It means," the old man interjected, "that you have the power to change not just yourself, but those around you. Your choices will echo through many lives." Mia nodded, understanding washing over her. "I'm ready!" With a newfound determination, she turned to face the cafe, the patrons watching in awe. But amid the chaos, as silence settled in, Alex felt a twinge of fear. "What about them?" he asked, motioning to the crowd. "Are they safe?" The old man smiled gently. "They witnessed something incredible today. Your light affects many, despite their fears. They will remember." Mia squeezed Alex's hand. "Let's make sure of it." And as the first beams of sunshine broke through the cafe windows, a new beginning unfolded. But one question hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. Would the darkness ever truly vanish? Hey, you did it! If you enjoyed this thrilling journey, you must subscribe to the channel immediately. Don't miss out on more exclusive stories that captivate your heart and mind. Press that like button now to feed the algorithm and get this incredible tale out to more amazing readers like you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending, and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to know how this ends. This is the time to show your support. Don't wait 1 second longer to share.